Hi, and welcome to my Tuesday evening live card making tutorial. And Miss Cheryl is already here, is checked in. Hello. All right, so this evening I have for you a DIY graduation card. And what I love about this card is it's so easily customizable to the school colors of your choice. And using all the same elements is just two strips of cardstock, and it'll change the whole thing. And I'll be using the Stampin' Up! Cap and Gown stamp set. It's one of the online exclusives. And so let me introduce myself. I'm Shelley Godby, and for 24 years, I have been teaching you how to create hand stamped smiles through my YouTube videos, my Stamping Smiles blog, and my mailing list. So, excuse me, let's have a closer look at the Cap and Gown stamp set. Here it is, and I've got a QR code for you as well. Fantastic. And so, like I said, it's one of the online exclusives. So you're thinking, boy, I didn't see that in the catalog. That is why. And I've been wishing for a graduation set for quite some time. And I was looking through, as a demonstrator, I got to see the 24-25 Stampin' Up! Catalog online. And it wasn't necessarily a graduation card. Well, I think it was. And it was just a clean and simple card. And I thought, ooh, I would like to change that and that. And so that's exactly what I'm going to do tonight is I demonstrate for you my DIY graduation card. And so isn't this adorable? And so you got all the hard work was worth it. Congratulations, grad and class of. So, and we will be supplementing this with the alphabet a la mode dies because included are numbers and how perfect with the class of. Okay, and great set. So I've got mine instead of, okay, this is how they come on this cardstock with tape and then trying to get them back on. I store mine instead on these magnet cards that I picked up at Stampin' Storage. And you can save 15% right now. Okay. And they're super strong. They just don't fall off. And there's so many dies in this set, you need two of them. It came on two sheets. And then I slipped them into one of these storage pockets. And there we go. And I put this in here because there is room for the label. And I'm not as good about getting that done as I am putting them on here. And so having the name is really nice. And so follow either the link under the video or the QR code I have here because you want to make sure you get the pockets and not the sleeves to store your dies. Okay. So we are going to, let's come back and see. Oh, we've got some more that have checked in. Well, hello. And let's get this back. Let's see who all has checked in. Miss Danette is here. Miss Adelaide, fantastic. And Miss Mary, okay. Oh, I'm so glad you all are here. So we need to do some die cutting. Oh, and Miss Cheryl, she's on top of it. She has already given my video a thumbs up and a share, and I would sure appreciate it if every one of you would do that. So we're going to do some die cutting, and I will be using the numbers. And you can see these are pretty thin. They're tall and thin. And because of that, I want to make this self-adhesive die cut. And I will do that with these are adhesive sheets. They come in sheets of 6 by 12. And so, peeling off the adhesive, I make the sheets a little bit smaller than the cardstock. Here, let's put some white behind here. This is my basic black cardstock. And there we go. And I'm going to do my best to leave a little bit of a gap between, not a huge one, but a little bit. So there's a really nice break for me because, you can see how thin these are. So it'll be easier for me to get the backing off. All right. And so now I am ready to die cut. And for that, I need my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. And that is right here. fantastic. Just love this thing. That you can fold it up and tuck it away. Just really frees up some storage space. And so let's go back to, I need to build what's called a sandwich. So let me pull this up, the QR code. And you can use either plate number 1 and plate number 2 that come with it, or this magnetic platform that I picked up on Amazon. And hey, talking about Amazon, make sure you check out their spring sale. So if you follow one of my links in and then shop around, really, really appreciate that. And so, and I always say, this doesn't make me a perfect die cutter, but it certainly makes me a better die cutter. Just no two ways about that. And here we go. Every time I pull one of those up, there we go. It takes away that. So regardless if you use plate number 1 and plate number 2, you still need a cutting plate, a plate number 3. All right, there's the 3. And then the cardstock, the black's kind of blending in. And put the sticky side down. And now we need our numbers. And so graduation this year, 2025. And so with these dies, you can customize it between the colors and the year every year for any grads, children, grandchildren, nieces, nephews, friends, kids. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. The graduations, right? Church members, everybody. All right, so I've got 205. We'll need to do the 2 again. And I need another plate number 3. And that completes the sandwich. And we'll put this through. And so, looking at my card, waiting for the video to start, I thought, of course, this could be very easily what we're making would be a card to give a grad. But I was also thinking it could be announcements. It could be thank you cards, after the open house. Okay. And I meant to do that little trick and I forgot with the, because I didn't try it earlier with dryer sheets. I thought about it and then forgot. I had to run off. Okay. So we are done with a 5. Right back on my magnet card. And the 15% is sweet. All right. So, you've got these little poke out holes. You just gently poke with my take your pick tool. And then we'll take these off. Oh, okay. Miss Adelaide uses her mini quite often. Yeah, my mini is behind this one. And it fits on the shelf that way because, they both fold up. All right. Our 2. I'll need another one of those. And our 0. And see that nice break by not butting right up to each other? That's going to make it a lot easier to peel off the backing. And I'm done with that. And so one more. And that will be it for die cutting. This is a clean and simple card. Yeah, and you're right. The mini would have worked just fine with this. I just have a habit of grabbing my full-size Stampin' Cut machine. Now I have taken it places with me. It's like, oh, that was nice because it didn't take up as much space. All right. And so let's do this. And what a nice alphabet. Of course, you could use this for scrapbooking, but the letters are thin enough that you can easily spell out what you want on a card. All right, so we've got all of those. And back on there. Good. And let's tuck these away. So really like this set. And I had that QR code up there for you. The Alphabet a la Mode dies. Okay. So now we are ready for some stamping. And what I have here is some basic white thick cardstock. Now my sample, I just use basic white. And as I was popping up the dimensionals, I thought, oh, I would really prefer basic white thick. And so that's what we'll do right now. And whenever you're using white cardstock, I absolutely recommend the Stampin' Up! Basic white cardstock or basic white thick because it has a smooth, tight finish for crisp, clean images. This in the Very Vanilla is different than the color. The color has some texture to it. If you've ever stamped on it, it's not the image isn't as sharp as it is on the basic white and very vanilla. And then I thought, oh, this card is really clean and simple, but a nice way to dress it up will be with embossing. So what I have here is my Embossing Editions toolkit, and it comes with some very nice, here it is. This is what the embossing powder is separate. This is what comes with it. And the embossing buddy, very, very important. We run this over the cardstock, and that helps for the embossing powder to stick only to the stamped image and not the oil in my skin. Okay, and then you have a tray to catch the embossing powder, and this is the primary ebony from the Wow Basics embossing powder. And under the video, we're not ready for that. We've got to stamp first. What am I doing? Oh, yeah, I need to stamp first. But I did need to do the embossing buddy first. I got so busy explaining to you about this, I forgot. Okay, so what we need here is the Versamark. And we have our graduation gown. And so this is a watermark stamp. And it just makes the image a shade or two darker than the cardstock you're stamping on. But we're using it because it's a pigment ink and it'll stay wet longer for me to sprinkle on that ebony embossing powder. All right, I'm just making sure I press everywhere because that's a solid image. Fantastic. And I can't admit, let's see if you can, yeah, I can't even turn it. Oh, a little bit you can see. Okay. And let's get the graduation cap. All right, now we're ready for the embossing powder. All right, so this tray will catch anything extra, and that's nice because then I just funnel it right back in using this brush into a bottle of embossing powder, and it will last a good long while. Okay. You know, I don't need to just empty the whole can out. This will go over it. There we go. Or the whole jar, I should say. And once I have some in here, I don't keep going back to the jar. I use what's in here. Does that make sense? And then I need to tap it off. Yeah. I've got some where I don't want it, but it will be just fine. So let's set this aside. And then something I hadn't had before into the Embossing Editions toolkit are these tweezers. Oh my gracious, I love these. So you squeeze to hang on to it, and then you don't have to keep squeezing. Where, you know, traditional tweezers, you squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. This is just squeeze until it releases. And this is nice, strong metal, but the tip is plastic, so the heat doesn't radiate up. Because that was always something when we're embossing, trying to keep our little fingers out of the way from getting burned from the heat tool. And what an amazing tool this is. And so on the end, we've got the plastic covering up the heat, the metal, because that gets really hot. And it didn't used to be that way. Many, many years ago, like I said, I've been a demonstrator for 24 years. This was a very nice touch to it. And the heat is very intense. People will ask, can I use a hairdryer? No. Your hairdryer will not get nearly as hot as this. And there are two settings. That first one is to dry ink. The second one, to melt the embossing powder. And so you just hold it on until you see it go from this powdery to a finish. And it's like magic. Look at that. And it's shiny. Oh my goodness. So this little touch is really going to dress up our clean and simple graduation card. So, so pretty. You know, if you wanted to really build up a solid image, you could use the Misty. You know, set your image up, stamp it with a Versamark, emboss it, and then stamp over it a second time and put more embossing powder on. And there we go. So everything is shiny now. And as soon as you see it's shiny, you can move on. And then I like to turn. And if I see something that's just not as shiny as the rest, I'm going to go back and finish. Oh, there we go. I didn't quite have it melted. You know, I've caught unmelted parts, you know, even the following day. It just, the Versamark stays wet for a good long while. So there we go. So, paper snips. These are just amazing. Let's go ahead and do this. Makes it easier. And these are, oh, my gracious, do they make it easy to trim? So I've got some out there, and I didn't bother trying to get every little bit off because I knew I was going to cut it out. So what I'm doing here is leaving a nice little white border around. And this is just so easy to do. I really could see someone doing this for announcements or thank you cards. Okay. All right. So what's going on here? Let me tell you about some other things. So tomorrow, after the video is done uploading to HD, I'll have a link to my blog post with this card with the measurements, as well as a downloadable PDF that it will include the card sketch. And hey, stick around to the end. Yesterday I was having some fun with the Thoughtful Journey Memories and More card pack. And I made 7 cards in just no time at all. And so I showed a couple yesterday in an email. I still need to do the blog post. I was working on that before the video. I'm going to show you all 7 right now, or I mean when we're done here. So stick around for that. They just turned out really nice and so easy because the card's already done. You know, they're 3x4 and 4x6. And like, oh, you know, it was the focal point and it was just fun playing. And so I only had half a pack from my, left over from my share. And to be honest, I just really hadn't played with them before, but now I'm hooked. And speaking of shares, I will be having a designer series and specialty paper share, as well as including the accessories, your choice of one or both, you know, the paper or the paper and accessories. And there we have this. And so, I thought, let's just instead of making you watch me do that, I have the hat cut out, but the paper snips. But there's something I wanted to try. I'm going to be using red and black because those are my high school colors, and I just love it. Okay, where did it go? Oh, it fell on the floor. Imagine that. And as I was cutting this one out, I got thinking about it. You know, my tassel, I left it on my sample. I left it just white, but I thought my tassel was red and black, but that's a little bit small. So let's just see and we'll compare. I've got here the Real Red Stampin' Blends. And so we will compare this with just the white. And I'm kind of already thinking I like the added color. All right. So we will, like I said, we will compare. All right. Any questions at this point? Because this card's just going so quickly. All right, so what I did was I used the not Whisper White, my goodness, the basic white note cards and envelopes. The cards come already cut and scored for you, and then with the envelope. And this is the smallest, 3.5 by 5. That's the smallest size you can mail in an envelope. All right, if it's any smaller, you have to put it in an envelope at least this big. So that's the smallest size. And let's put this. So let's go ahead and do some placement and see here. This is what was in that catalog, the 2 strips. And they didn't use red and black, of course, because that wasn't, the school colors. But how easy is that? Because we've got our cap and gown. let's just put his here for placement. Got our cap and gown, and usually they're black. So all the elements, are staying the same other than you making these their school colors, and that will make them feel very, very special. So let's go ahead and place, because I need to stamp something, but I want to just put these in place so I can see where to stamp before I start adhering things down. Okay. So 20, 25, quarter of a century already. Doesn't it? Oh, my goodness. It feels like it was just a couple years ago. It was 2000. 2000. All right, so we've got our placement. Let's bring this down a little bit more because I need to be able to stamp the class of. All right, and for that I have the Tuxedo Black Memento ink pad. And let's ink this up. Straight up and down. Come over here. All right, right there in the center of this. And I like to stamp on a flat surface. That's why I have it open. Oh, Miss Cheryl likes this. Well, good. You have this, which in the US is only 20, and then the alphabet, you are set for graduation cards forever because kids graduate from high school once. If they graduate from college, hey, then it'll be the college colors. Isn't that cool? So while this is out, let's dump all this off. And might as well use the greetings in here. All the hard work was worth it. Let's stamp in here. All the hard work was worth it. Fantastic. And then, congratulations, graduate. And straight up and down. Fantastic. So let's put it all together. And we'll start with our strips along the bottom. And for that, I have my Stampin' Seal. Oh, Miss Patricia's here. Yes, high school or college. Absolutely. And, a one-time investment and you're set with something so easy to do. And even for those who aren't thrilled with what they call fussy cutting, I love it. It just calms me down. Really simple to do, though. Really simple. And if you're in the mood, you could just emboss and cut out a bunch of them and be all set to go. So I've got this cut from edge to edge. And let's not press down until we're happy with the placement. I don't have a big gap between those. So, yeah, it's so funny how you can see something and it inspires you for something else. All right, so let's just place that. You know what, we can go ahead and put that on there. And with my favorite adhesive ever, I've got my Stampin' Dimensionals. And everything I'm using, unless I tell you differently, like the magnetic platform, is available to order in my online store, www.shopwithshelly.com. And all the supplies are listed under the video if you're watching on my blog or YouTube. Facebook doesn't care for links. And so if you are watching on Facebook, you can head on over to YouTube and find everything there. All right. I want to make sure. Okay. I want to make sure we can't see anything because that just really takes away if you can see the dimensional from the other side. And this little lift just made me happy. It's like, okay, again, another way to dress it up, the embossing and, cutting it out and lifting it up. Oh, yes, Miss Cheryl. Yeah. And I think you should grab the alphabet too. She says she's got to get this stamp set. She's got a bunch of graduations coming up. And let's come down just a smidge more. That's why I said I don't press till I'm happy. Okay. So once you press, I mean, you can get things up, but I don't tend to be able to get them up without tearing. Okay, so I am pleased with that. Press, press, press. And see with that break, nice and easy. Well, in theory, to peel off. There we go. All right, let's get my take your pick tool and help, because this is thin. So this was one method, are using the adhesive sheets. Another, I've got a couple others to show you, would be these sticky dots, and these are nice too. I like to use those on intricate. So you just peel it back, and there are all these little dots. Put it on there, rub on with the bone folder, and then adhesive. Or if you have more patience, you can put a thin line of adhesive on the back with the multi-purpose liquid glue, and then let it air dry till it's translucent, and you've got something that's really nice. That glue isn't it's not squirting out all over. So 3 different ways: the adhesive sheets, the sticky dots, or the multi-purpose liquid glue. Okay. And again, let's not press down yet. This is really, like I said, I said that earlier, this alphabet, they're thin enough that we can use them. I mean, this is on our cards. We've got 4, we'll call them letters here, they're numbers, but on a basic white note card and envelope. And these are made with the basic white thick cardstock. So it's a great card base that can handle some layers and will stand up oh so nicely, because the graduate will just be so touched that you did it in their school colors and handmade. It'll be something to go in a memory box for sure, unlike a store-bought card, right? You just know there's something special about handmade. Someone thought enough of you to take the time to make a card. And even though this one isn't taking terribly long, still. Okay. And so while I'm peeling this off, if you're one of my sweet stampers and have ordered at least $50 from me, October 1st, 2024 through March 30th, 2025, I'm going to send you one of the 25, 26 Stampin' Up! Catalogs absolutely for free. And so you've got a little bit of time left to get that done, because after that, it'll be $14 to have one mailed to you. So I'd rather spend it on product than on postage, right? All right, so I'm liking that. Let's press everywhere. And there we have. So what do we think? Color in the tassel to go with the school colors. Like I said, mine was red and black. I thought I could try to put some little strips in there, but oh, Miss Cheryl loves the sticky dots. They are nice. So I will set that aside and we'll take a vote. And so let me know if you like it the way it is, or if I should color it while I show you. All right, let me grab my bone folder. And let's fold that a little bit better. So there we go. It'll stay down. All right. And then remember, inside we've got all the hard work was worth it. Congratulations, graduate. So with the cap and gown. Okay. Oh, you know what? Let's just do this. I'll color the one and then I have the sample and we can look at them side by side. And I started with the light real red. As I'm looking at this, I think I would prefer the dark, but I wasn't sure. But you know what? If we keep adding on top of it, it will get deeper. Okay, now we can compare. Oh, Miss Mary likes with the color. There we go. So we can compare, and you can definitely let me know. Oh, Miss Patricia says color Okay, everyone's liking the color. Yeah, like I said, when I was doing this last night, I didn't think of it, and this afternoon I thought, wait a minute, my tassel. And nothing like keeping it coordinated. All right, so the thoughtful journey. I don't have hardly anything left because I had so much fun. Let me show you what. So you get the note cards. Isn't that pretty? You get these cards that are double-sided, and some of them have, greetings or sayings on there already because you can scrapbook with these. And so I just had a blast. And let's have a look. This is the only one that I used two. I used a big one and cut it down. I mean, they do have the cards and envelopes with it. Oh, Miss Molly likes it. Miss Molly, I was thinking about you as I was making these. We did a bunch of graduations, didn't we? um, so this used two of them, but didn't that turn out pretty? So all I did was add cardstock. I didn't get fancy with embellishments or anything. Oh, Miss Danette likes it colored too. So there's one. So this is one of the 4x6. And there's another one. That beautiful. Sky's the limit. That could be a graduation card. And here we go. This I did add a greeting. And I was going to remember, yeah, I've got them. Anyway, some of it was it thoughtful? Anyway, and this one was already stamped. So very, very simple, but a lot of fun. Isn't that pretty? So like I said, just added cardstock. Other than that one, I just used one of them. And sometimes it was hard to decide which side to use because both were so pretty. Really like this. And just trimmed one of them down. Isn't that pretty and embossed? I think this is Thoughtful Expressions. And one more. So aren't these just something? Yeah, yes, we did. Yes, we did. In red and black. It's just so stunning. So there we go. The Thoughtful Journey. Aren't these fun and pretty? So, a pack of those, really inexpensive. I only had half a back and I still had some left over, and can you imagine you could use then both sides if you wanted because it was a hard decision. So there we go. Well, thank you, Miss Mary. All right. So, all right. The votes so far have been color the tassel. And I agree. I think it looks finished that way. And that took no time at all to do that. So this was fun. And of course, you get the envelopes with it. So really very affordable. And what I liked about the this size was it was all full. It didn't look empty. And it just filled it all in. And it looks, oh, so nice. Very pleased with my project, inspired from a clean and simple card. So like I said, all the supplies are listed below the video. So let's do this. That I showed you my Thoughtful Journey cards that I had a lot of fun playing with. There we go. All right, so we can see what's going on. Okay, so the cap and gown. All the supplies are listed below the video and available to order now in my online store, www.shopwithshelly.com. This was fun. So it's getting to be that time. I mean, it's almost April. And so graduations, they start happening here in early May. So it's time, to get this ordered. And being an online exclusives, we don't know when it'll disappear. Just one day it won't be there is what could very easily happen. The online exclusives don't have a specific end date like catalog products do. And if you joined us a little bit late, please give my video a thumbs up and a share. It just means the world to me when you do that. And so I think I told you about the annual catalog, how to get one absolutely for free. You just place that order with me. It has to be with me because that's the only way I would have your name and address. Place an order with me, $50 or more by March 30th, 2025. And I'm going to send you a 25-26 catalog for free. All right, so I don't see any new comments. So it means It's that time that I say thank you for joining me for my Tuesday evening live card making tutorial. I just have so much fun with you every week. I'm Shelley Godby, teaching you how to create hand stamp smiles. Good evening and God bless.